Friday edition of PFT Live. The Detroit Lions emerge from their bye with a visit from the Minnesota Vikings. The Lions will win that game in my estimation. I ran it through the algorithm, the computer. I double-checked it, triple-checked it, quadruple-checked it. 42-13, the Lions will win the game. Along the way, though, will they get more from Jameson Williams? John Morton, the offensive coordinator, said this week, I've looked at everything and I failed him. That's what I told him. I have to do a better job with that. 30 targets, 17 receptions, 289 yards, 17 yards per catch, 2 touchdowns. Almost identical to last year's numbers at this point, but they paid him, and he is capable of being a tremendous weapon. The Lions have this kind of weird everybody eats mentality when they have a couple of guys who are special, like Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams. Now, I'm nothing against Amon-Ra St. Brown because he's special too. I'm talking about special high-end skill set. David Montgomery is to Jahmyr Gibbs what Amon-Ra St. Brown is to Jameson Williams. And St. Brown gets fed, and he makes the most of it. But you've got this guy who is incredibly talented that gets ignored. And Montgomery gets touches, reps, etc., when Jahmyr Gibbs is clearly the better player. So it's just kind of a weird dynamic in the Detroit locker room. And I wonder whether Williams is, if they weren't winning, he'd probably be sounding off a little bit because, he should be more involved in the offense. 17 catches through 7 games is not nearly enough for a guy that talented.
Yeah, I understand that, Mike. I don't like this comment from John Morton. I don't like it. The first thought I have is, who are you talking to and why are you talking to them this way? And it seems like he's talking to publicly Jameson Williams. Has Dan Campbell come to him and said, hey, we got to get Jameson Williams more involved? I'm not sure. I mean, if you look at their I like his talent. I followed his college career, started off at Ohio State. I'm a Buckeye, so, I love those guys. But went from Ohio State to Alabama, and the Lions made quite an investment in him when he was hurt. They traded up for him knowing that he wasn't going to play most of that season, that first season. So, yeah, he's got great talent, but you're on a team with Amon-Ra St. Brown. What are you supposed to do if you're John Morton? You got St. Brown. You already mentioned the running backs and Gibbs and Montgomery. We didn't mention Laporta. So you have so many weapons on the Lions. So are you saying that you failed him by what? Have you thrown to St. Brown too? Have you failed him? You shouldn't throw to him as much. I think it's just a strange comment from a winning team that is so imaginative on offense. Why are you saying that?
Well, and I think there is a story behind the story. And look, the offensive coordinator is the one who designs the plays, calls the plays, layers them in, tries to get the ball around to different guys. And it may just be that during the bye week, Jameson Williams decided to make his frustrations known privately, and that John Morton is in the process of trying to rebuild things a little bit. And maybe he has overlooked Jameson Williams. If the offense is working with Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown and David Montgomery and Sam Laporta, but just the problem is there's only one football. And when you've got these explosive plays, there's only so many reps. And winning usually cures it. But at some point, like they paid Jameson Williams, let's use him. Let's get the ball to him. He can't just be a decoy. He can't be a guy who takes the top off the defense to try to elongate the field and attract a defender or two with him. You got to use him at some point. So we'll see if that makes a difference. Well, you're right. You're right. And he'll be playing the Vikings, who traded the pick to the Lions in the first round that became Jameson Williams, which I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about intra-division trades during the draft, because that guy will always have been the guy that the Vikings let the Lions get. So we'll see what he does against the Vikings on Sunday. 42-13, 7 catches, 125 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Jameson Williams. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.